Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of Marissa Matthews saying the idea that fat people are addicted to food is a harmful stereotype and fat-phobic. We're also going to be taking a look at several bonus clips of her responding to hate comments. Please be sure to check out a video I released on my second channel over the weekend about an alpha male who went on an alpha male podcast and started freaking out. Here's a link. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
Hi there, this is just a friendly reminder that if you look at every single fat person and you automatically think they're addicted to food, guess what? That means you are fat phobic. That means
Are you sure it doesn't just mean that I understand how calories work?
you have fat phobia. That means that you do not see people, like fat people, as human beings. You see us as failures. You see us as people that are less than.
Not really. I don't see people that are addicted to other substances as less than or failures. I just see them as people with a substance abuse problem that should probably work on it. I don't think people are trying to dunk on you when they're like, hey dude, maybe you should get some help for your alcohol problem.
And it means that you need to unlearn your fat phobic and biased stereotypes about fat people in order to see us clearly.
About fat people. Well, Canadia, it's funny that you would be so offended when people imply that you have an addiction. That's one of the least insulting comments that you've got so far.
Because you cannot tell someone's health or their habits or anything about them by simply looking at them.
Are you sure? If someone is all buff, we can't assume that they probably go to the gym occasionally. If someone is obese, we can't assume that they might have eaten before. That maybe this isn't their first time eating.
This is literally what all the books in school teach you, is to not judge a book by its cover.
And what do all the books in medical school teach you about obesity? That it comes from the food that we eat. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
You literally cannot tell if someone is addicted to something by just looking at them.
Bullshit. Dude, if you're drunk and slumped over against a building during the middle of the day, I can tell that you have a substance abuse problem. If someone's all covered in sores and all this stuff and abscesses and they're all skinny and they're always nodding out and stuff, you can assume that person is on heroin. Like I've said countless times, I don't assume that every overweight person that I see is battling an addiction. Some of them just don't know how to eat right to have a good physique.
And if you think that all fat people are addicted to food, then you are in for a harsh reality when you learn that that's not the case. So if this video is directed at you, please take it, please think on it, and then go and unlearn some stuff. Thanks.
Okay, well the brain damage I got from that stupidity just helped me unlearn many things. Thank you. And then she said you're going to be in for a rude awakening when you realize that that is not the case. So when I learned that fat people are actually obese from genetics or whatever, I'm really going to freak out. Wait a minute. According to these calculations, obesity is caused by the things that you eat. Now I'm learning that that's not the case. I've just been fat phobic this whole time. Oh! Obviously, it's not fat phobic to know that the food that you eat leads to your size. That's real silly. Next. Alright, now Marissa's going to be responding to this comment that reads, moral failing is indeed a harsh way to put it, but it is the sign of an addiction. Addiction to food is no less detrimental than addiction to nicotine. Not moral failings, but issues to be worked on. That's basically what I said a moment ago.
Yes, moral failing is a rude way to say it, but guess what? A lot of people believe that fat people should not exist because they are fat, and therefore it's a moral failing.
Okay, so you can't read, is what I'm getting from this. They said that having an addiction is not a moral failing. It's an addiction. You wouldn't see people addicted to other substances as having a moral failing, typically. And then you're like, it is considered a moral failing, and then you go off on some other tangent. You just saw the word moral failing and you didn't read the rest.
You're true about that, but you are fat phobic, but you are being fat phobic right now because your biases and your stereotypes are clouding your judgment.
They literally said it's not a moral failing to have an addiction. And then you're all like, you're saying it's a moral failing to be obese? How dare you? Like, what? Bro, learn how to read.
You do not know that about me. You have absolutely no proof to prove that I have an addiction to food.
Dude, it shouldn't be this shameful to have an addiction. There shouldn't be this much stigma around having an addiction. We should be able to talk openly about it and get the help that we need. This is like when somebody can't admit that they have a crack problem or something. It's like, bro, God, just admit you have a problem.
That is a fat-phobic bias stereotype that you are applying to me simply...
A bias stereotype. What? What?
Based on what I look like. That is the definition of fat phobia. You have nothing to prove that this is true. You don't know who I am, you are not my doctor, you are not my friend, you are not in my life. Therefore, you have absolutely no way of assuming that for fact. So instead of doing
You have no way of assuming that for a fact.
all of this, why don't you just be quiet, keep your fat phobia to your fucking self, and stop harming other fat people, because your comment is harmful.
No, they just said that addiction's not a moral failing.
And you've been around my profile for so fucking long that you need to grow up, grow a pair, and stop being fat phobic. It's about time that you unlearn it.
It is a boot time, you bastards. Alright, so that was weird. That person reiterated what I said, which is that addiction is not a moral failing. You don't go and try to crap on somebody because they're addicted to heroin or something. You might be like, oh man, you really need to get it together, but you're not like, what a piece of garbage that guy. At least I'm not. And she just saw the word moral failing within that comment and hyper fixated on it. She's like, it's not a moral failing. This is fat phobia. Like, bro, you didn't even read. Next. Now she's going to be responding to this comment that says a person might have fat but can't be fat itself. In my opinion, you are attractive, voluptuous, creative, brilliant, outgoing, hilarious, colorful, and freaking awesome. Okay, so that's the nicest and most positive comment that I've ever seen Marissa Matthews get. Let's see how she responds.
No, I am fat, and your comment is actually very invalidating, so let me explain why.
Okay, so don't try to be nice to you. Alright.
I'm literally fat because I'm fat.
Okay, they were saying that you can have fat, but you can't be fat, and then they gave you a bunch of, like, super dope compliments, and you're just, like, brushing over all that stuff and getting offended?
But yes, I am attractive, I'm voluptuous, I'm creative, I'm brilliant, outgoing, hilarious, colorful, and freaking awesome. I'm all of those things, but I'm also fat.
Okay, so you can't take a compliment. This is weird because usually people just insult this person and she gets all bent out of shape from the insults. This person gives you a very nice compliment and you start crapping all over them as well. You're like, yeah, I know that I'm dope, but I'm also fat. Stupid. It's honestly pretty bizarre, right? When you get so much hate from people online, I would imagine when somebody's finally nice to you, you'd be like, hey, thanks. This is sweet. But no. It looks like you're so used to people being mean to you that you can't accept it when they're actually nice, which is sad. Have any of you ever had such low self-esteem that when somebody was nice to you, you thought that they were just being nice to you so that they could make fun of you later at some point?
Fat does not mean ugly. Fat does not mean unworthy. Fat does not mean disgusting. Fat does not mean any of those bias stereotypes that...
Why do you keep saying bias stereotypes? That's not how you use that word.
Diet culture has told you that fat means. Fat has never meant or equaled those things before. And a lot of fat people are reclaiming the word fat because they don't actually mean those things, and it's just a descriptive word to describe our bodies. So by you telling me that I'm not fat, it's very invalidating.
Okay, so when somebody tries to be nice to you, you crap all over them and tell them it's invalidating.
And by you telling me that I'm not fat, it's invalidating my personal experience as a fat person in our fat-phobic society. And I don't think that's what you're trying to do here.
Okay, in the past, I've felt very bad for Marissa because it seems like people just target and harass her. But after this sort of response, my sympathy for her is waning. In those two clips that we just saw, people were actually trying to be somewhat supportive, and she tried to crap all over them. One person was like, it's not a moral failing to have an addiction. She started trying to crap all over them. This last person was just like, you aren't fat, you have fat, but you aren't fat. And then they said all these other positive things about her, and she started crapping on them. So yeah, man, my sympathy for this person is greatly diminishing. Next. Now she's going to be responding to this comment that says, by responding, you give them what they want. Another attempt at being supportive, basically.
By responding, you're giving them what they want. Guess what, Deborah? I don't know if you're Deborah, but guess what, Deborah? Like, stop telling me what the fuck to do.
Dude, you have the maturity of a literal 8-year-old. This person is trying to help you and you're like, stop telling me what to do. Like I've said before, you could tell Marissa, hey Marissa, breathe. And she'd be like, what? I'll show you. I'm not trying to be mean, but what kind of IQ is required to just do the opposite of what somebody tells you, even if they told you to do something good? How immature do you have to be to harm yourself to stick it to others?
How to live my life. Oh my god, I did not ask.
Okay, so keep responding and keep making these dumb videos and people will keep laughing. I've said this before too. I've said, hey, stop responding to every single hate comment that makes you a lol cow, which is a phrase that has nothing to do with somebody's weight, but somebody that you can milk for laughs.
I didn't ask. There's no need to tell me what to do or how to live my life. I'm literally neurodivergent. And the fact that you say this, guess what? Now I'm going to respond more. What?
Really? So you're going to make a fool of yourself more because this person told you to stop making a fool of yourself. You really stuck it to them.
Like, stop telling me what to do. This goes for anything.
Yikes, dude. That was one of the dumbest displays that I've ever seen. There's an old saying that goes, don't bite your nose off to spite your face, and this is a prime example of that. Don't harm yourself just to stick it to other people because they told you not to harm yourself. That's real dumb. Next. Now she's going to respond to this comment that reads, if you could stop screaming, that would be nice. No need for that.
See, now, I just do not understand this type of comment, this type of mentality. Like, I don't get it at all. Why in the hell are you trying to control my life?
You should really stop seeing people's casual comments as them trying to control your life and feel the need to rebel against it.
Why in the hell are you trying to control what I do? I'm not, also, like, I'm not the one who's screaming. It's a sound that I used. It's somebody else screaming. So why are you telling me to not do something that I'm not actually doing?
Alright, well, I have no idea what this person is referencing, but screaming is annoying, so knock it off. Knock it off!
Also, there is a need for it. Hence the video. Like, why are you trying to control what I do on my page when you have absolutely no control over what I do on my page? Like, do you really think I'm gonna listen to some stranger on the internet? No! I can do what the fuck I wanna do.
It's weird that comments on your videos make you think that you're the center of the universe. Stop trying to tell me what to do, society. Stop trying to control me.
I just don't get how you go around trying to do this and try to dictate and control other people. Like, I don't get that.
Alright, well, I don't know if that person was trying to control your life or whatever silly nonsense just because they casually told you to stop yelling. Hey man, you think you could keep it down a little bit in there? It's getting a little loud. How dare you try to control my life? You don't know me. Alright man, I was just trying to tell you to keep it down. Jesus Christ, calm down. Alright, so that was weird. Marissa Matthews is fighting an imaginary war and sticking it to all the haters by harming herself. You don't want me to respond to every comment and make a fool of myself? I'll show you. I'm responding to every single comment. You don't think I should punch myself in the face? I'll show you. So what do you think of the clips that we just saw? Is obesity caused by an addiction to food? Are addictions a moral failing? And should Marissa Matthews stop responding to every single hate comment? Leave a comment below. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.